And tonight finds us halfway around the world at Bagram Airfield in Afghanistan. But all members of the NBC News family are united in our profound sympathy for the members of Tim Russert's family. Tim died suddenly this afternoon in our Washington bureau, where, of course, he was the longtime bureau chief and, as we like to say so often around here, moderator of Meet the Press. So many of us feel like we lost our partner today. We're united with all of you in knowing that we lost a friend. Tim had just flown back from Italy, a trip that was a college graduation gift to his son Luke, who was still in Italy with Tim's wife Maureen when we learned this awful news. Our friend Timothy J. Russert was just 58 years old. We'll remember him on this broadcast tonight. We'll begin with NBC's Pete Williams.
Tim Russert never missed a chance to tell anyone where he was from the place, South Buffalo, New York, he called it, and from the people, hard-working Irish Catholics, as he would recall years later.
I began at Holy Family School, then on to St. Bonaventure School, where Sister Mary Lucille of the Sisters of Mercy helped give direction to my life.
You know, you weren't always the most quiet student.
Tim was especially proud of his blue-collar father, who drove a garbage truck for the city. Tim's book of reflections about growing up with his father, Big Russ and Me, became a bestseller, as was a follow-up collection of letters in response to his first book. After college and a law degree, Tim felt the pull of politics, which would become his life's passion. He learned it from the inside, at age 27, heading up Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan's New York office. In the mid-1980s, he was a political advisor to another powerful New Yorker, Governor Mario Cuomo. Tim came to NBC a quarter century ago, supervising broadcasts of the Today program from Rome and arranging for the first American television interview with Pope John Paul II.
Good morning.
And then on December 8th, 1991, he took on a new responsibility.
From NBC News, this is Meet the Press with Tim Russert.
He took charge of television's longest-running broadcast.
That's all for today. If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Meet the Press became the #1 Sunday interview broadcast, and Tim its longest-serving host. He sometimes devoted the entire hour to a single guest, as he did in 2000 with presidential candidates George Bush and Al Gore, programs that were widely honored.
Oh, it's only 3:17.
The 2000 election night nail-biter led Tim to bring out a decidedly low-tech way to explain the Electoral College drama. Writing out the possible scenarios on a white, dry erase board. It made such an impression, Washington's Smithsonian Institution asked to add it to its permanent collection. Tim's style was direct, asking his guests to explain apparent contradictions in their own records.
I still need to be educated. Wall Street Journal, November 26, 2005. You repeated it to the Boston Globe in December of 2007. You said it.
Okay, let me tell you what I was trying to say and what I meant.
His exclusive interview with Vice President Cheney 4 days after the 9/11 attacks helped reassure a nation on edge. Among those expressing condolences today was one of Tim's Sunday morning competitors.
Well, yeah, Tim was the best of the best. He was the best of our profession. I think he's someone that all of us can be proud of. He set a wonderful example.
Tim spent a lifetime preparing to cover this year's historic primary elections and was the backbone of the political coverage on every facet of NBC News. As he warmed up a debate audience last fall, his love of politics was on full display.
Well, I went to the airport after that show, and the flight attendant ran down the aisle. She said, "What did you think about Ross Perot?" I said, "Ma'am, I never comment on my guests or behavior. I leave that for others, talk radio, cable, whatever. But I'm curious, as a flight attendant, as a viewer, as a voter, what did you think of Ross Perot?" She paused, looked down, looked up, and said, "He strikes me as the kind of guy that would never return his tray table to the upright position." Cha-ching!
Tim's political acumen was apparent the night of May 6th when he pronounced Barack Obama the winner of the Democratic primary.
All right, let me start you with the same simple question. Did it just end tonight?
We now know who the Democratic nominee is going to be, and no one's going to dispute it, Keith.
Tim Russert was, most of all, a family man, deeply devoted to his wife, Maureen Orth, a writer for Vanity Fair magazine, and his son Luke, who graduated this spring from Boston College. Tim had just returned from celebrating that graduation overseas and was working here in the Washington Bureau today when he collapsed and died 2 days before Father's Day. Pete Williams, NBC News, Washington.